Hi, I'm Andrew McClintock, and welcome to Fantasy Aid. Today we're going to be talking about 10 fantasy baseball sleepers for 2016. Now, these aren't necessarily ranked in order. These are just 10 guys I think could have draft value for you coming into this year. And my first person is Matt Moore, who is coming in off an injury-plagued season. He's really been injured for the last 2 years. In 2013, he went 17-4 with 143 Ks, 150 innings, and then beyond that, the injuries just hit. But he played well at the end of last season, coming off the injuries. As you can see, his last 3 starts, 20.2 innings, 1.3 ERA, 19 Ks, and only 3 walks. And if he can replicate anything close to 2013, he could be a tremendous value in your draft. Number 2 on my list is Marlins first baseman Justin Bour, who narrowly missed my top 15 first baseman list for a couple of reasons. He had 23 home runs last year, which matched his career high from his 2011 minor league season. He is a career 279 hitter in the minor league, so the average could go up there, and they're also moving in their fences. I think if he can replicate these numbers, that he could be a steal on draft day, depending on how deep the league is. I would probably rank him 16th or 17th. He could go higher if he could improve the numbers a little bit. I don't think the potential is there to necessarily, especially on the home runs. But I think he could provide solid value as a backup first baseman or a starting first baseman, depending on how big your league is. Number 3 on my list is Daniel Norris, who was injured a lot of last season. He put up okay numbers, 60 innings pitched with 45 strikeouts, a 3.75 ERA, the FIB was kind of high, and the WHIP was okay. He'll likely start in the middle of the rotation this year. And in his last 4 starts of the season, he allowed 1 hit or fewer in 3 of those. So his finish to the season was encouraging, and I think he can have a relatively decent year in 2016. Number 4 on my list is Orlando Arcia, shortstop for the Brewers. He played in AA Biloxi all last season. Now, this is more of a guy, he won't be on the roster opening day, but I think by mid-season he could probably take Gene Segura's spot. He's a top prospect. He hits for average, and he's got great speed. His home runs, he's not going to hit home runs, but the shortstop position, you're not exactly looking for home runs there. He had 37 doubles, 7 triples in the minors, and I think this is the year that he breaks through. I think all-star break right around there, depending on how Segura does, if Segura bounces back. Number 5 on my list is Jered Eickhoff, who was traded to the Phillies last season from the Rangers in the Cole Hamels deal. He played well with limited time. The strikeout potential is definitely there, and reportedly he's already guaranteed a rotation spot by the Phillies. He's not going to get a lot of wins considering the team he's on, but he could be a solid back-end guy. I don't expect him to keep the below 3 ERA, but maybe a 3.30 ERA with 8.5 strikeouts an inning, something like that. He would be a good addition for the back of your rotation. Number 6 on my list is Eugenio Suarez, who took over for the injured shortstop for the Reds last year, Zach Cozart. Now, some interesting things. His average climbed 36 points from 2014 to 2015. However, his OBP dropped by a point, going from 316 to 315. He'll play third base this year as Cozart's back, but he'll still have shortstop eligibility in most leagues. He had a good amount of home runs. I would have liked to see more doubles. And he had a pretty decent average, not great walk to strikeout rate, but I think if he can improve the plate discipline more this season, as he'll probably play a more full season at third base, I think he could provide some value there, especially at shortstop where it's just so shallow. Number 7 on my list is Drew Smyly. Now, he's not as unknown as some of the guys on this list, but I had to put him in. He was pretty hyped going into last season. but injuries just derailed his entire season. When he played well. 77 strikeouts in 66.2 innings, a WHIP under 1.2, an ERA right around 3. I don't think you would ever get him as much value as you could other guys on this list, but he has the potential to be elite. I think a 3 ERA with around a strikeout per inning should work, and he could get that ERA lower as he's playing in Tampa. I feel like because of the hype of last season, it might not be so big this season. Number 8 on my list is Devon Travis, who I can say he's a sleeper because even I forgot about him when creating my top 15 second baseman list. I would probably rate him around 7th if I had put him in, but he had an absolutely torrid April. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and batted .328, and then beyond that, injuries just hurt the rest of his season. I would have loved to see what he could have done over a full season. The potential is there. He's hitting in Rogers Center. He's shown some power potential. He's not going to steal a lot of bases, but he's a good, especially at second base, and he's going to score the runs if he stays healthy. And I think 20 home runs is not necessarily out of the question. I think that's more on the higher end. I would think more between 15 and 18 on a full season, but he is definitely a guy to consider. Number 9 on my list is Max Kepler, who only had a little bit of a bats with the Twins, didn't do much in September, but those were his minor league stats last year. And he's going to start at AAA, but I think he'll be called up before the All-Star break, so if you have an extra bench slot and you think you can need some outfield help later, he might be worth a stash. I mean, his plate discipline is amazing. And his speed. I mean, he's not going to hit a ton of home runs. If he got called up, let's say after the All-Star break, I think 6 to 10 home runs. But his speed allows that slugging percentage to be up there. I mean, he had 13 triples in the minors last year, 34 doubles, 19 stolen bases. His OPS was .930, and that's even with hitting just 9 home runs. So he is definitely a guy to keep an eye on, and even if you don't stash him on the bench, just keep an eye on him. Put him on your watch list. And number 10 is a guy who I kind of struggled to whether I should put him on this list. Pompey was hyped up last year and did absolutely nothing. But with Ben Revere gone, if he can have a good spring, I think he could have a starting spot. He was really hyped up last season, and I mean, it was a season to forget. And this is really a make or break year for him. Can he produce the way people thought he could? And that remains to be seen. I think he's worth a speculative pick in deeper leagues only. Like, if you're in a 10, 12 team league, I wouldn't even bother with him, but 16 and beyond, you should take a look. And that is 10 of my sleepers. I might do another sleeper video later, but our next video will be on shortstops, my top 15 going into 2016. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, email me at fantasya1@gmail.com.